Hello from snowy London and welcome to another of these thoughts while I'm walking the dog. Now, a number of you have demanded to see my dog in camera. So before we crack on with today's video, which is all about Elon Musk and his decision to buy Bitcoin, here is Frodo. Hello, so Tesla just bought a lot of Bitcoin. Get ready for executive FOMO. Now, before we start, let me just mention that somebody is impersonating me on social media. So if anybody messages you, soliciting you to call a number to buy Bitcoin or anything else, it is not me. I'm not DMing or soliciting anyone. And I wish social media cracked down on these scams with the same vehemence it does wrong speech. So, another day, another record high. There's only really one financial story to cover today, and that is Bitcoin again. As I speak, it stands at $47,000. Yesterday saw its greatest up day ever. Why? Elon Musk. That is why. Yesterday, Tesla announced that it's bought some $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin. And the price of Bitcoin, not Tesla, duly shot up. Now, this is hardly a surprise. Last month, Tesla announced that it might hold some of its cash reserves in certain alternative reserve assets, including digital assets, gold, and gold exchange traded funds. Then, the world's richest man added the Bitcoin hashtag to his bio on Twitter and began making cryptic comments. In retrospect, it was inevitable, he said. He started posting memes about Dogecoin, a cryptocurrency that was invented as a joke. Yes, really, going to the moon. And then last week, Musk said during a conversation on Clubhouse that he thought Bitcoin was on the verge of broad acceptance. And then yesterday, Tesla announced the following to the US financial regulator, the SEC. We invested an aggregate of $1.5 billion in Bitcoin and may acquire and hold digital assets from time to time or long term. Now, Bitcoin was trading in the $30,000 to $35,000 zone in the fortnight during which Tesla was accumulating, and overnight it hit $47,000. So already Tesla is up some 30 to 50%, over $500 million on its investment. Nice work if you can get it. So what happens next? FOMO, fear of missing out, is what? But this time at the corporate level. Bitcoin's extraordinary price surges have this tendency to create the most extraordinary FOMO. And it was Michael Saylor, who's the CEO of NASDAQ-listed MicroStrategy, who piqued Musk's interest in Bitcoin when he told him on Twitter, if you want to do your shareholders a $100 billion favour, then convert the Tesla balance sheet from dollars into Bitcoin. Other firms on the S&P 500 will follow your lead, and in time it would grow to become a $1 trillion favour. Now, Saylor was the CEO who kick-started the corporate rush into Bitcoin back in 2020. On seeing the volumes of Federal Reserve money printing in reaction to COVID, Saylor converted his company's $500 million balance sheet into Bitcoin. And then in December, he raised another $625 million and put that into Bitcoin as well. And having spent 15 years trading into the $100, $150 range, the MicroStrategy share price launched upwards and now sits at over $1,000. In the meantime, Saylor's become the most extraordinary spokesperson for the space, building up a huge online following, and he's taken it upon himself to educate other CEOs as to how they can convert their treasuries into Bitcoin. CEOs who previously shunned Bitcoin are going to be looking at the likes of Saylor and Musk, and not to mention Twitter's Jack Dorsey, who has already taken the plunge into Bitcoin via his company Square, And these CEOs are going to realise they have to get in on the game. Not just because of the erosion in the purchasing power of their own treasuries, their shareholders will demand it. Why are you not holding a portion of your treasure in Bitcoin? They will be repeatedly asked during earnings calls. And those who stubbornly refuse will be made to look like fools by the rising Bitcoin price and risk losing their jobs. Rumour is Apple will be next, not just for its corporate treasury, but also to use with Apple Wallet. And can you see Amazon letting this one pass by? And so we slide into hyper-Bitcoinization, the rapid rush to adopt Bitcoin. It happens time and time again, only this time it's at the corporate level. There are around 3,500 publicly traded companies in the US alone, with more than $5 trillion in their treasuries. They are all suffering the bleed of zero interest rates, money printing, runaway asset price inflation, plus now an enormous sense of FOMO with a dash of peer pressure thrown in. Bitcoin's finite supply, there's only ever going to be 21 million, and about 20% of that is already lost, and another 40% or so tightly held in cold storage, which is the equivalent of being locked up in a safe, but, well, the digital equivalent, and so unlikely to come to market anytime soon. This all means it puts a huge upward pressure on prices. This is all very bubbly. Bitcoin has repeatedly been accused of being a bubble. Ditto Tesla, and the two have combined. Now, this all depends on what your definition of a bubble is, of course. Mine is a bubble is a bull market in which you don't have a position. There are always new bubbles around new technology. Bitcoin is a new tech that is money. It's about as bubbly as it gets. And so we have a massive greater fool theory in play here. Bitcoin will go up many times and then it will crash. This is what it does. But currently, every single person who ever bought Bitcoin and didn't sell is in profit. Now, in its SEC filing, Tesla added the following extremely significant comment. We expect to begin accepting Bitcoin as a form of payment for our products in the near future. You will soon be able to buy Teslas with Bitcoin. Every other car company is going to have to do the same if they want to keep up with the Jones. Visa announced a Visa crypto software program last week with which it will help banks roll out Bitcoin and cryptocurrency buying and trading services. PayPal, whose boss Peter Thiel is a Bitcoin fan, has made it possible for users in certain jurisdictions to buy Bitcoin. And PayPal's share price is up 40% as a result. These developments all form part of the bigger story, which is the gradual mass adoption of Bitcoin. Individuals, then corporations, next will be nation states. Absurd, you may say, but we're already seeing signs. The city of Miami has been buying. The mayor wants to turn Miami into a kind of Bitcoin capital. Other jurisdictions in Florida are moving to hold Bitcoin and accept it as a means of payment. Ohio already accepts it as a means to pay taxes. Nations that have suffered with weak currencies, but where energy is cheap, are already making moves as well. Both the Iranian and the Venezuelan governments are mining Bitcoin. Ukraine's Ministry of Energy wants to do the same and make use of the country's excess nuclear power. What was once some crackpot darknet money favoured by nerds, misfits and drug dealers is entering the mainstream. He who acts first acts best, as the saying sort of goes. And by the way, it will be interesting to see if Tesla goes into gold. Musk is South African. South Africans love gold. They understand gold. Tesla mentioned gold as a possibility. Wouldn't that give the gold price a much needed bit of impetus? In the meantime, thanks very much for watching. Please subscribe to my channel and please also take a look at my books, especially Daylight Robbery, How Tax Shaped Our Past and Will Change Our Future. I'll see you soon. Until next time, cheerio.